Welcome to my kitchen. I'm the soupiest artist here after a very, very busy October with a more low-key video to bring you nice soupy vibes in your day today. I have never done a sketchbook session before, but I thought it would be an excellent opportunity to just talk about what has been happening in my life and other random stories I'd like to tell. ADHD, brain goes in 3 different directions and it doesn't even have an explanation for why it does that. So to keep more with the relaxed vibe of this video, a lot of it will be in real-time speed, so grab your notebooks and something cozy to drink and just relax. To really get focused on sketching, I was going... This is all gonna be in one take. Here we go. To really get focused on the sketching I was going to do, I went to my friend's shop she has in our local town. It really is just an excellent place for creatives to gather just to brainstorm, find oddities, or just relax. I am still super grateful she extended this invitation to me. It was such a lovely, safe space for me to work. As chaotic, super sensitive soup fairy goddess, it can be hard for me to feel truly focused in a public space such as this. I felt ripe and ready to focus as soon as I got set up in the space she provided. So, to start off this session, the night before, I drew some sketches of Critical Role's own Ruby of the Sea, who happens to be one of my favorite NPCs in Campaign 2. Also, just a warning, I'm probably going to say spoilers for the campaign in this next coming part of this session. So, if you don't want to hear that, then skip ahead to when I'm done coloring these beautiful sketches of our fair Ruby. Recently, I have been thinking about revamping the cosplay I have for her, and if you saw me at Rose City Comic Con as her in 2019, then congrats! That was the first and only time I ever wore that cosplay specifically. I spent the whole summer sewing it, and it showed what a rush job it was. I had already tried to modify the cosplay with a different purple dress I owned previously, but it still didn't seem right. So I quite literally, in a burst of inspiration at midnight, drew some very quick sketches just to get an idea of how I personally would interpret such a beautiful NPC that Laura Bailey and Matthew Mercer worked so hard to make. Also, I ordered the Mighty 9 makeup palette, and so I'm thinking of revamping that cosplay anyways, so I can make a video or something about making a look using the makeup. On which, a side note, if you guys are interested in seeing the process of how I'll revamp my Ruby of the Sea cosplay, let me know in the comments below. For this specific moment in time, however, I used a ballpoint pen to make my initial sketches, and now I am just laying on some lazy watercoloring just to give our Ruby a little bit of a pop. Also, I wanted to see how well the vision in my brain would translate in a real drawing. And now the question is how to translate what is on the page into a real-life costume with the right body proportions that I see the Ruby having. But that'll be a problem for future soup. One of my favorite moments in Critical Role, like in Campaign 2 specifically, is any time Jester had to send a message to anyone. Especially if it was like a more serious character, just the sheer ridiculousness of her sending those messages and the person who responds. You couldn't hear it, but I just did a chef's kiss. That's just how perfect every single one of those moments. Especially when there's an awkward pause and right at the end when she has extra letters, or extra words, I guess, that's how the spell works. Whenever she had extra words, she would either just start rambling or she would just end with, "You poopin'?" It's one of my absolute most favorite parts. Every single time Jester had to send a message, I would just be ripe and ready to hear whatever ridiculousness was going to come out of Laura Bailey's mouth. It just, every time. I was on the floor, busting up laughing constantly. Good times. I just realized, sorry if I sound congested. I was very sick last week, so I'm sorry if I'm like into the mic. Those are probably some really unpleasant noises for your ears to hear. I'm sorry. I'm not an ASMR channel for that reason. I'm too awkward and make too many funny noises. Anyway, so Marion Lavore, the Ruby of the Sea. She is one of my absolute most favorite NPCs for so many reasons. It's just, I'm always finding myself very drawn to very beautiful, graceful characters, simply because that's what I love to draw. The fairy princess lover in me just always strives to draw something graceful and beautiful and almost ethereal looking, and it really shows. All of my OCs are either chaotic little bean sprouts of terrible chaoticness. That was a terrible metaphor. Or they are just complete, utter beans that would literally smile and all the flowers in the world would bloom all at once in the middle of a winter storm. I have no in between. But yeah, Marion is just so pretty. Like, the fact that, yes, she's, the best lay ever, but also, like, how she just carries herself with just this level of dignity. Like, not in a snobby way, but in, like, this kind, warm way. Like, she is just pretty inside and out, and that's one of the reasons why I love her. She is such an excellent mom, and you can tell from like the first moment she sees Jester, like there is just so much love and so much care, and just how she goes along with all of the shenanigans that Jester has to pull, and how she oh so gratefully like watched over Nugget and Veth's family in the end of the campaign. Just my heart, I love her so much. Also, just like how Matthew Mercer described her just hit a chord in me and just made me love her even more. I don't know, like there's just something about the way he described her in those initial parts when we first got to meet Marion that just made my heart go awooga, which is probably how she gets most of her clients, to be honest. A big conspiracy in like the Critical Role fandom that we all kind of knew but didn't know if it was real or not is whether or not the gentleman was Jester's father. I think like right in the beginning when we met the gentleman, like seeing the correlation between them, there was like in the back of my mind I was like, yeah, it's possible, but then I just kind of squinted my eyes as I was watching like those episodes, and I was like, that seems a little too obvious. That seems too obvious. They wouldn't do that. And it was right, and I'm not mad about it, honestly. I'm not mad about it. There's just something about subtle symbolism in character design that just makes me go awooga. And if you know me personally, my mutuals can absolutely call me out on this. I am a hoe for it. And I'm not sorry about it. It's just who I am. I can't help it. Alright, talking about the design that I specifically had in these sketches, again, they just came to me at midnight, like when most good ideas come. Again, taking into account what her background is, as, the best lay ever, I really tried to make her body shape very much a typical like hourglass shape, big bahanga wanga longas and nice hips and very tiny waist. Also, that's just a silhouette that I think is pretty, and again, that's just the what's it called? The historical drama, the historical costume lover in me. I don't know. But yeah, I thought it suited her since she was supposed to be like this outrageously attractive woman, and I thought, those are typically things that, are considered in today's society to be attractive. Again, this is just my take on what I think she would look like. So many people have so many beautiful iterations of what she looks like, and so this is just personally my idea. Because she is so revered as like a singer, I went online and I really dove deep, and even in my first cosplay, which you've seen it, if you know, I really leaned into the opera, because like it's a profound part of who she is as a person, is the fact that she sings and she's a singer, and even like hearing the operatic performance that she sings when the Mighty Nine are at the Menagerie Coast. Like, it is just so beautiful and just full of like this tranquility but also strength, and just trying to emulate that in like how actual operas are done. It was very difficult because a lot of them have different silhouettes than what I was looking for, because on the Menagerie Coast, you've got to have a lot of like loose, very flowy fabric because it's hot, it's a tropical paradise essentially. So it was very, very hard for me to try and mix the opera part of her and also the part of her that is a courtesan. Overall, I think settling down with the dress design that I did have in mind fitted for the sketches that I needed to make. So yeah. In her makeup, I'm pretty sure I will do more of like opera inspired, like as you can see in the sketch in the top corner. The next sketch in this sketchbook chill session of relaxedness is a old-ish OC of mine. Old-ish? How old? How old is she? Like 6? No. Yeah, like 6 years old, I think. I actually don't really know. This OC, Eileniaka is her name, and she is a wizard, which in my universe, the universe that Eileniaka is from, wizards are a bit different. They kind of evolved from my version of what a siren was, which was like these magical beings with like white skin and colored blood and colored tears, that also had like these colored wings and stuff like that. When I was reworking the story just recently, I decided to change up a lot of the specifics of her certain race, and so I just decided to go all ye old Harry Potter with it, but not actually, and just call them wizards. So in this universe, wizards are defined by having very dark hair and very vibrant colored eyes. Like Eileniaka's eyes, as you'll see in later in the sketch, is actually like a bright electric blue, which I don't think I did a good job drawing that. Maybe because I forgot. But yeah. So her eyes are a bright blue, and of course, she has dark hair. So that's kind of what my definition of a wizard is. And of course, they have like magical powers and stuff like that. Like they have access to magic and humans don't. Like there are some sorcerers out there, but like not really. Like magic, humans having magic has something to do with the fact that they have some wizard blood in them. Like that's how that works in my brain. That was a very weird ramble. I'm apologizing for that. It's fine. It's cool. This is a nice, just chill session of chillness. So the story that Eilenia is from a failed webcomic that has been reworked 4 times, and the webcomic is called Tale, capital T-A-L-E. And basically, it's just kind of, I was very inspired by Steven Universe, because when I created it, Steven Universe was a heavy influence in my life, and I just really loved the show. Don't hate me for this, but unpopular opinion, Rose Quartz is my favorite. I love her. She's the reason why I can draw hair so good. But yeah, so it's basically what it is now. Tale is basically I said basically a lot. Why am I like this? Tale is a slice of life style story of some sorts. I keep going back and forth on whether or not I want to do animated or comic. I don't really know, but it's kind of slice of life with deep lore and dark undertones. which is a style of writing in shows that I greatly admire. I like how shows can be silly and ridiculous and not take themselves too seriously, but then have like this deeper, astounding undertone. And I think that's why stories like those hit the media so hard, is because it's, it's for everyone. Kids can watch it because it has that silly slice of life attribute to it, but it still has like an underlying concisive identity of story that adults don't find with many cartoons. And I find that that's what most adults, that's why they kind of, at least adults that are in the older generations, that's kind of my perspective of why they don't really watch cartoons, is because it's just too kitschy. Like, there's no concisive story from over an entire season. Maybe I'm just being ridiculous, but that's just my perspective. But anyway, so that's where Eileenika's from. She's one of many characters in that story, and she's actually a character I didn't really plan on having showing up until much later in the series. So in the series, in Tale, she is a electric blue wizard, again, as I mentioned earlier, and she's a baker. She is a very sad baker. I took a lot of inspiration from a lot of people's styles in my life. This is like an alternative skater girl. That's kind of how I can describe her aesthetic and how I can describe her looks. Like, there's a tomboyishness to her, but she never is like out of touch with her feminine side. But she's not like I don't need no man. She's more like, I just want to dress comfy and bake her treats, and that's just who she is. She's one of my favorite characters to draw, simply because she is blue and reminds me of a side of myself that I don't really get in touch with much anymore. And right beside her, I'm drawing a very bad, lazy sketch of her Phoenix familiar. I don't remember what his name is exactly, but I think it's Kai. I'm pretty sure it's Kai. I don't think that's right. Oh yeah, wizards have familiars. I didn't mention that before. I don't know. The familiar idea was like was stable throughout the entire concept, and when I was trying to like separate and rework the story, I just couldn't see like this race of people without like their animal but also kind of not animal guardians of sorts. So I decided to just make them their wizard familiars. Alright, materials I used in these sketches, it's just ballpoint pen, as I did for the initial sketches, and then I used crayon on the third sketch that I did of the portrait in my storybook style of Eileenika, which is what I'm drawing right now. And that's about it. Lately I have been really experimenting with doing poses that are a little bit more casual. Like, I'm very used to drawing very graceful, very standing, not very characterized poses. And I wanted to really stretch myself. So with the pose that I drew with her holding her phone, I used a reference that was kind of out of my comfort zone, but I just really wanted it to be a quick sketch. And obviously, like you can tell, it's not my best work, but you know what? It's a sketchbook session. I just wanted to sketch and have a good time. And honestly, that's all I could have asked from myself on that particular day. I was in the zone, and I didn't really want to get out of the zone. So yeah, I was not prepared to draw realistically at all, since I've been very used to drawing in my storybook style, since I've been getting a lot of commissions that are in my storybook style, which by the way, if you didn't know, my commissions are open in my commission information. is in the link in the description down below. Please commission me. I am a starving artist. Please help make like my dream come true. I know that sounds like really stupid and stuff, but I really want this to be my job. I'm so passionate about art. Okay, please commission me. Okay, bye. This has been your plug for this video. Yeah. So I kind of went back and drew this little portrait of Eileniaka in my storybook style, and I actually like kind of the attitude that I gave her. Oh yeah, and then I went back and I lined it with this brush pen. I think they're MIDI liners. I think. I don't actually know what the brand is. Huh. Well, anyway, I've had these brush pens forever, and I don't really use them. Mainly because I kind of don't know how to use brush pens that aren't watercolor brush pens. Like, these ones are a little bit weird and spongy. They kind of feel like a beauty blender that has just been injected with ink. And I guess, like, it's hard for my fingers to get, like, or it's hard for me to have control over because the sponge, like, bends so easily, but not to a fine point like a normal brush would, like brush pen would, but it's more to a, like, weird rounded texture. I never thought of that before this, but maybe that's why I have so many problems. Maybe I should try drawing them on more, like, bigger pieces instead of tiny sketches like these. That's something to think about. Alright, while I am lining and coloring this little portrait of Eileniaka, let's talk about the future. I have been streaming for quite a while on Twitch, and this month I decided to take a break to really reset and refocus, and honestly, having that break was so nice, and I'm so thankful to everyone who was so understanding. I have very low energy as it is, and everything that I've gone through in this past year has just absolutely made it not easy for me to have the capacities of energy that normal people generally have. So being able to take a break after such a busy October was honestly such a blessing, and I am so thankful for my wonderful community for having grace and allowing me to take that time off. I really needed it. But that said, I did work. I like I said earlier in this video, I opened up commissions, and there is more work that is being put into opening up my online store. It's just very difficult for me to come up with sticker ideas, and my brain has just been going back and forth on so many anxieties, and I'm really trying to, like, beat those down and talk so much positivity into myself, and trying to help me believe that I can do it, because it's scary and it's new and it's something that I am passionate about, but I'm afraid of making mistakes or messing up, which is something that most people deal with and I deal with a lot. But I am hoping that in the very near future, I will be able to open up my online store and sell a whole bunch of stickers for all of you nerds out there, designed by yours truly. And possibly, like, my main goal is just for me to be able to make whatever I want and be able to sell it. So I'm hoping that eventually there'll be, like, one-of-a-kind trinkets and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it that I have as far as an update on my life. Now to our final sketch of this sketchbook session. I will be drawing a possibly familiar face to some of you. but I will be attempting to draw attorney Woo Young-woo from the Korean drama entitled... It's almost my bedtime. Can you tell it's late at night and I should be in bed, cozied, instead of doing this voiceover? Because I can, and my nose, again, is deciding to run what we call a turkey trot in my neck of the woods around this time. Anyway, my last sketch is kind of a little bit more of a congealed piece. I'm drawing attorney Woo Young-woo from the show, The Incredible Attorney Woo. Yeah, I think it's just that. I discovered this show through a gift set on Tumblr I saw. I thought the things that were said in the gift set specifically, it piqued my interest. I don't exactly remember what it said, but I remember thinking, oh, it's from that show. I'll have to check it out. And then I did, and I happened to watch it with my mom, and we both ended up liking it a lot. So we watched through the whole thing, and I am very much hoping that they are going to make a season 2, because it was amazing. And it was amazing to watch something cute but also serious all at the same time. Something that I could also watch with my mother that isn't cartoons but also is adorable and engaging. I love Attorney Woo. She is just so cute, and not in a childish way. I don't say that in a childish way at all, but just, I don't know, just how she interacts with her environment. I'm not an autistic person, so I can't say for sure if it was proper representation or not, but from my perspective, I could see I think they did an excellent job showcasing that if you are autistic, you know, you can still you can be a genius in one way or another. You know, you can still grow as a person through experience. You can still learn, which I found that was really cool. I love how Woo Young-woo grew as a person throughout the show. I love how her character developed. I love how she went from being sort of like recluse in her emotions and very like recluse in how she interacted with others to opening up to others and learning new experiences, and how she taught her co-workers too about finding solutions in her work that weren't necessarily conventional, and finding other ways to look at problems and fixing them, and how to be an honest person in a broken society and in a broken system. Honestly, like the fact how Attorney Woo like wanted to be honest more than anything, and how that was like a main challenge for her throughout the entire series, like I loved that a lot. That was a really interesting part of the show. It was really cool to watch her like balance between like this sense of good and evil that was different than the typical good and evil stories that we're exposed to in media today. Overall, I thought like the show's writing was super well done. Again, it had like good balance between seriousness, and it had good balance between like a lot of the funny scenes. It was, again, thought-provoking, and what's the word I used earlier? I don't remember. It's gone now. So yeah, overall, really, really good. Again, I don't have a proper gauge on the autistic spectrum because I am not autistic myself to say if their representation of autism was correct or not. I don't know of a better word to say. I'm so sorry. But from my experience, I thought they did a good job. Probably my favorite episode in the series is with the, what did they call? He was called Mr. Poop, but they used like the Korean word for poop or something like that. And basically it was this guy who really wanted children to be children and not to be so focused on like their studies and things like that. It was such an interesting episode, and it was just so touching to see how, you know, kids wanting to play shouldn't be something that is so hard. Like, academic achievement isn't the only thing that matters. It matters with being a child and experiencing life to the fullest in those years, because you can never get those years back. And I thought it was very, very touching. And I loved how, I'm just going to keep calling him Mr. Poop because I forgot what his actual name was, and I don't want to go look it up because I'm tired. But I love how Mr. Poop, like, he admitted that everything he was doing was wrong. Like, he did not mind going to jail. Like, he just wanted to give the kids a taste of play, a taste of being a kid. And even though his methods were unorthodox and borderline on the veins of kidnapping, I thought that it was amazing for the kids to just go out and explore and just have fun in how they showed it in the show to be a very constricted and academic focused life. So yeah, that was my favorite episode. And Attorney Woo, honestly, was the first K-drama I ever watched. And honestly, I might watch more of them. I might have to start and do that. Find some other ones. I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions of what some good K-dramas are, I would love to know. Except for The Untamed. I tried it. Not my thing. Yeah, other ones, please. So for these sketches, I used again my trusty ballpoint pen that was very festive because there's a little ghost on it, but it's not Halloween anymore. But actually, it's a pretty good ballpoint pen. Like, I have really tiny lines, and they're really, really nice. And then I'm just going in with some crayon and just quickly just slabbing on some color because, again, it's a sketch. I'm just trying to have fun. I'm not trying to be masterful in any way, shape, or form. I'm just trying to have some fun and have some nice, relaxing time with just me, my brain, and my hyper-fixated, indulgent thoughts. And another thing you probably noticed is me using a lot of references in this particular sketch. And I honestly think that when you're drawing a realistic style, references, whether it is your own person or photos, is super important. And looking at the way that skin like crinkles when you move, and the way that the body like has a candid sort to it, has a candidness to it, but also has like a very statuesque look to it too. And it's very important to like study like the proportions. Obviously, I always make my eyes way too big, but that comes from my background in drawing anime, which we don't have time to unpack, and I won't unpack all of that. So a lot of the times when I'm drawing in my more realistic style, I'll have a reference next to me of an actual face that I want to use. And in the case of Attorney Woo, luckily, it being a live-action centered show, I had plenty of references to go off of. And I just really liked the shape language that she had. Like, she had a very oval, very round shape language to her. Am I sounding like a professional artist yet? Comment flower for yes, or comic sad face for no. But yeah, that's just what I basically used. Again, it's not like the best, but I had fun, which is honestly all I could have asked for myself, and I really enjoyed the process. And yes, I spelled all of my words wrong. My mom already got on me about that, but I didn't care, because again, I'm just trying to have fun, and my sketchbook is my playground, and I've been trying really hard this year not to take my sketchbook as some kind of like prized portfolio where I'm just going to draw very beautiful professional pieces. No, I am barfing as many ideas as I possibly can, and even on some pages it's just writing in crayon random ideas, because it's a sketchbook. That's what it's there for. It's there for rough ideas and not making every page look pretty and perfect, but showing your thought process. It's basically like an artistic diary of who you are at these moments in time. That's what a sketchbook is, and I've really been trying hard to not be so hard on myself about... Hold on, I'm going to sneeze. False alarm, it wasn't a sneeze. And I've been trying to not be so hard on myself about not making like a page into a work of art. Like, I'm trying to just get concepts down and do more thumbnails and be more loosey-goosey with everything that I put in my sketchbook. And honestly, I have been filling up my sketchbook very quickly, which isn't like a big deal in the sense of like one of my sketchbooks literally took me 3 years to fill, but I don't know, this one's only taking me about a year, and I'm like getting down to the end of it. I gotta start thinking about what I'm gonna draw on my last page, but I guess I'll have to see when I get there what'll happen. But yeah, overall, I think this sketchbook experience was super fun. I mean, I was focused and I was relaxed, and I just got to make some art that was not really for anyone else. It was for me, and I just happened to bring you guys along for the ride. If you did draw anything during this sketchbook session, please share it with me. You can tag me on Tumblr at the-soupiest- that's not my username. What is it? The-soupiest-artist. That's me on Tumblr. And then you can also at me on Instagram, which is the.soupiest.artist. I would love to see your work, and I'm so happy that you found my strange rambles and me saying every other word to be inspiring, I guess. I don't know. I still have some more time here in this sketch. Well, maybe not, actually. I'm coloring in the background. And now it's over. Okay, bye.